Excited to be here as well, filling in here to do the very best I can. I will say, did not know I was casting play-ins until today, so forgive me if my prep is not up to scrub. Thankfully, you are here to carry me, as my color casters tend to do already.
No, you got this, you got this. You've been around a while. You'll be very familiar with some of these teams. So. But look, either way, we're already into it. Fiora and Sejuani going to be banned away by Evil Geniuses. Already putting that presence up towards Likey in that top side. Definitely been someone who has favored those carry top laners, so not surprised to see those banned away. Yuumi has been a pretty standard ban by Beyond Gaming as well, so still going to see that.
I'm curious if we're going to see even more early game focused bans. We saw in the opener for Evil Geniuses, Kaori went for a Caitlyn. Since there's no longer the Electrocute Nami interaction, it feels like Lucian Nami has kind of fallen off priority. I think it's still good, to be fair, and we see it indeed. So it's going to be a new look for Kaori. I really do think, even with Aerie, Lucian Nami is still good. If he has other lane bullies, that can be fine as well, but this has always been his style. You think back to the Evil Geniuses who won in spring, who showed up in MSI, who were so dominant in the regular season. This was Danny on a lot of backline carries. He could play the Senna, he could play the Seraphine, but the Sivir or Zeri meta was like exactly his style of like chill in lane, like leave him alone when you go for Rift Herald, let him be the big carry. Kaori is much more early game focused. It has meant that for the last 6 weeks, EG have had to completely retool their team, right? Same roster from Spring Split, except for Kaori coming in, plays a different style of champion, and it has looked like EG are still building the plane mid-flight.
Yeah, and I think that's what Beyond Gaming have kind of recognized here, right? They get rid of those pushing lanes. They're like, hey, Wako's been our big damage carry. Let's make sure he's going to be comfortable bot side. They're kind of giving a call out to Minji here as well, saying, look, we're going to take this Silas. I think Minji had a great performance yesterday against Loud on the LeBlanc, but now he's got to see if he can have a similar performance on this Assassin in the Akali that does do well into Silas.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I am always stoked for Assassin melee matchups in mid lane. I will say that's the more fun version, like the set Lee Sin meta from like MSI a year and a half ago. I think this is the funner version of melee mid, so very excited to see this one. Clearly, Silas Pryo is there. And Aphelios does have a good first couple levels, but traditionally considered a late game carry.
And I think especially when you're seeing so many short-range compositions here, especially with the Aphelios locked in, I think things like the Maokai now become incredibly good as well, where if you can try and lock that in, I mean, we've seen the flexibility that the pick already has. Keep that for yourself and make sure you're able to kind of speed up your team, get them engaged, especially when you're playing such a short-range composition.
You know, the fun thing about this team is Singe is a flex pick. Impact actually has several notable Singe games in his history, and Jujupon has been spamming it in Champions queue, so Jojo keeps that hover going. Lee Sin is in Inspired, has been an absolute stellar player overall, and Lee Sin, there's a fun mantra we've heard more recently, which is it's not that Lee Sin falls off with game time, he just scales with your skill. Yeah. So as long as you're good enough, you can make it work at the end game. Value going back to the hover, I think it's actually going to be locked in.
And I think it's been really interesting to see the dichotomy we've seen between junglers, some people going for the Graves and Hecarim, that farming style, which has been incredibly strong. Like we saw Grell pop off yesterday in the Graves, but you're seeing people like Inspire still go back towards things like the Lee Sin, the Vi now taken for Husha here as well, still going towards, hey, we want to have that big impact early, and I think it speaks volumes to the identity of some of these teams and how they want to play from the jungle.
And it is really cool. Look at the jungle pool, right? There is a Sejuani ban, and that is it. And Sejuani even then is like a flex, right? So every jungler is up. You can pick whatever you want. Inspired's like, give me Lee Sin. We're going early game. I'm going to take this game over. And Husha, who's played a lot of Vi throughout the year, this is now his 7th Vi pick of Summer Plus, makes it his 2nd most played champion across that same time frame, is like, I've just liked Vi since MSI, basically. Like, it's just one of my champs, and goes for it.
And I think it works really well here. I mean, you've got a Aphelios there that you can threaten the backline alongside a ton of dive with the Aatrox, the Akali as well. So I think it just works out super well, especially when you're looking at things like that Aphelios that will be quite vulnerable with the way this competition's set up at the moment.
And look at the bans, right? Tom Ketch, what is the default support? We're like, oh, this is not a comp I want to be anyone but Severin to. Tom Ketch banned. Unironically, I think Morgana, reasonably playable, although when you don't know your support matchup, there's some really bad ones for Morg out there. But if you're trying to save someone from a Vi, that actually can work well. We'll see what it comes through, though. Obviously, both solos are grabbed. Impact will get counterpicked for top lane.
Yeah, I'm really curious now what Wako goes for, though. Because with MF, Ezreal, Caitlyn, Kalista all off the board, like, with the Aphelios there, I nearly want to say you want to go for some sort of range, but instead, looks like they might actually just go for... No, they're going to swap over. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So I think here, that makes a lot of sense, right? Just getting more zone control in these team fights against someone like Aphelios makes a ton of sense. A ton of self-heal as well, so making sure that you're going to be on the safe side of that AD carry matchup.
Yeah, you're kind of just playing whatever. You don't know your support matchup. You don't know if you're you're going to get any safety from your own support if they're going to be helping with the dive. You need to get like a Leona or like a Nautilus coming through. So, whatever. Thresh has some safety. If Vi is the only diver, she's not going to solo kill you unless you're absurdly behind. So you can land in a safety. You're going to be kind of okay. Can zone everyone else out. But again, you need Impact's counter pick. Now in the opener, he went for Renekton, played weak side, and then got absurdly outscaled. Obviously, Fiora is a very, I would say, solo queue-esque counter pick where you get to carry and all the CC is so telegraphed, you get free riposts, but goes for the Kennen. We've seen Evie play it twice. My brain went to Levi. And I'm like, that's not the same player. Evie's played it twice to pretty decent effect. Kennen definitely can lane bully, has good team fight pressure, and also is a defender. Where if Akali and Co dive in, you're like, I pressed R and Aphelios lives.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, the ability to just sit on this Aphelios and go, cool, you're going to be totally safe, it's going to be all fine. So I'm really curious now to see how Beyond want to try and approach this, because they're going to go for the Rakan. I thought they might go for the Nautilus, because you just have that little bit of safety there with the Thresh, but I still think Rakan, Xayah, super strong bot lane, so you've got a ton of opportunities now for your top lane. Will be a bit of a skill matchup. You'll probably see Husha going up there to try and help out likely in that early stages, whereas you've got like Minju's just going to be fine farming up, and that bot lane is a bit self-sufficient as well. So I definitely think when you look at Beyond Gaming, trying to play up towards like we saw them yesterday with Loud is going to be the best way here.
All right, I'm excited for it there. Beyond off to 1-0 start here at the World Championship. I'd seen a lot of people call Group A the group of life, and then it's like, oh, EG not playing with Danny, Fnatic not playing with their bot lane either for some of these games. Well, Beyond's up to the 1-0. They're like, yes, we are living. And with the form we have seen of these teams, I think Beyond are the favorites here. Against Fnatic, I don't know. It's going to be later on in the time. But in this game, I favor them right now.
It is funny, though, because the Aphelios feels more like a Danny pick, right? Where you kind of go, oh, we're going to play for those late-game fights. We're going to have that late-game insurance with the Aphelios. Carries been more towards things like the Lucian Nami you're pointing out, things like the Caitlyn that we saw yesterday. Yep. So definitely feels like EG have kind of gone, look, we've tried this style. It doesn't really suit us at the moment. We're going to go back to try to play for these late-game fights and have that brunt of damage come from our AD carry position.
Yeah, across summer, it's easily like he's playing meta stuff and a bunch of Kalista when it's not banned and whatnot. Across his career, though, he has had his most recorded games on Aphelios. Again, not recent history, but a lot of AD carries who started in around 2020, 2019.
Around the 200-year mark.
Aphelios came out around that 200-year mark, exactly. It's like, well, we're all Aphelios one tricks. Let's go. So he at least has the reps on it, a positive win rate. We'll see how he does. And maybe this is match made in heaven, where it's like they can go back to that feed the carry style. Kaori is comfortable on this one. I know we're casting for English, so we're casting to a lot of NA fans who are waiting to see if EG can turn it up here in this one. And yeah, there are pieces here that look pretty good for them. Beyond Gaming, though, still off to the races, and we are on to the Rift here for the 5th game of the day.
Very excited to see how this one's going to pan out, because it does feel like Beyond, I mean, sitting with one victory at the moment, definitely trying to see if they can push themselves up and kind of have a bit of a fight back from MSI as well, kind of prove that they're able to push in towards that group stage. And they have been a region, the PCS, that has traditionally done quite well at international events, so a lot of eyes are on them at the moment to see if they can perform.
Yeah, it's one of the interesting kind of topics is, Mark C put out a video a while ago about like, what are NA's chances at Worlds really? And it's like, pretty solidly LCS is the number 4, exactly number 4 league, you know? And it's like, but then like number 5 is kind of the PCS, right? Like, and that's kind of been the de facto for the last few years. You know, occasional there's hits up, but like, you know, I remember like in 2015 was when AHQ and Flashfuls like both made quarters at Worlds, and it's like, it's been kind of quiet since then, unfortunately, and that's like so long ago. But yeah, Beyond are doing very well right now in the playing group stage, you know, playing for number 1.
And it feels like Beyond are kind of keeping that AHQ esports dream alive, right? Like they took their spot in the PCS and are now kind of carrying that mantle. And it feels like for guys like Minji and Wako as well, like especially for Wako, had to like replace Doggo, who was like the lifeblood of Beyond Gaming, for him to try and step into those shoes and then try and carry Beyond Gaming once more. It feels like he's had a lot to live up to, and I mean, they finished in 6th in the regular split, then end up having to be 3rd, 2nd, all the way up to play against Flying Oysters. It's cool to see them here now.
Oh, a quick fight in the mid, and Inspired gonna flash in first, so lands the Q, lands the chain, first blood in for Evil Geniuses, some digital goods claimed for first blood, and if you want to link your league account with Prime Gaming, you can receive your own free digital goods. Look at that segue.
Easy as you like, but really well done by EG. I think as well, focusing Minji is definitely the best way to go about it. He had a great game in the LeBlanc yesterday, but was kind of given a lot of free reign thanks to Husha. Getting in early here, Inspired does a really good job of waiting with that Sonic Wave to connect and picks up first blood.
That was really, really beautiful stuff. I'm always a fan of a jungler who's like, I'm gonna flash for the non-skill shot, the rest will land afterwards. Jojo, yeah, level 2 afterwards. barely lands it too. That was nearly sidestepped.
Yeah, I mean, just a really nice job, though. I mean, even taking the Tempest Cripple level 2 to make sure that he could actually get that damage off, and making sure that he was able to follow up with the Sonic Wave. Because usually you would take the Safeguard level 2, give yourself a bit of a healthier clear.
Yeah.
Working out super well, and Hushing out looks like he's trying to respond, but Wave not in the best of spots to try and do so.
But aggressive trade, keep in mind if E's on cooldown. Yeah, the Q flash follow. Is there the rest of it though? Auto, E's gonna land into the tower. Shot 1, shot 2 will kill. At least he was tagged. We're gonna go to Jojo Pyun, but an assisted kill is more gold, and his wave is gone.
And the teleport is still here for Jojo Pyun as well, so he'll still get back. So 1 for 1, gets to come in and pick up most of this wave. So all said and done, still a good trade for EG.
He's a good scoreboard right now. 600 gold lead, Evil Geniuses. When they went to MSI, it was a little bit of a rough show, but so much of it, when they had gone, when they won in spring, was Danny in the bottom lane, kind of feeding the puppy. Oh, that is a good hook, though. Looks like Flay is not up. He, of course, has Lantern. It might have been on cooldown. Can't pull him in the turret. But Jojo Pyun has really stepped up since MSI and has been one of the bigger carries for EG, and you can see him here. Yeah, gets him out from Inspired, sure, but he is off to the races here in this mid lane.
Yeah, and usually we talk about Inspired and Jojo Pyun, but looks like Inspired has his eyes on top side instead, but this wave crashing, like he might be in trouble. No jungler here. You can see Hush is on that bottom side, so this could be devastating for the Aatrox to lose a big wave.
Do they have the damage to kill him? Full potion still up. Cowrie dodging away from some Xayah damage. Farm really close between the two. Ooh, and round 2 onto Jojo Pyun. Of course, no summoners up anywhere. Full health, and they decide, no, not going to go for it right then. Jojo walks up for a trade. Then Impact getting chunked 200 HP there. Leakai takes a good trade. Q not going to land. Inspired just here to shepherd the wave in and let Impact reset.
Yeah, it should be fine, and you can see jungle camp straight as well. Inspired end up taking the Croaks on top side. You're going to go Hush it, taking those Raptors as well. So overall, kind of both junglers trying to play towards each of their strengths, and at the moment, Minji definitely trying to get that help to try and reset what has been a bit of a bad start for him in this mid lane.
But pressure kind of all around the board, right? So Inspired pulled top side to help Impact get a reset. And the bot side, Cowrie kind of needs the same thing. This wave is bad for him. His health bar's low, Vulcan shields what he can, but Beyond Gaming are definitively winning this bottom lane. Great QE combo. Wako gets him even lower, down to 150. And it's like, yep, Inspired. Your job jungling was push in top lane. Now let's help out bot lane. We gotta get this wave in so we can reset. You lost your Raptors? Sorry, bud.
Yeah, I mean, you need something to try and fix this, especially as we talk about, like, Wako in that later portion of the game being the big carry for Beyond Gaming. I mean, he's first in damage per minute coming out of the PCS, first for damage percent with 33, but Jojo goes for a bit of a hectic trade there.
Yep, end of the day, though, as long as you have a mana pool, your sustain is overall better. Now, at this point, no mana items yet, so has the haste, and indeed, it's going to be Inspired just taking the wave. Cowrie needed his reset. Got Berserker's Greaves. But you really want to get Noon Quiver on the recall, which I'm pretty sure Wako can easily afford.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, CS lead, plus he also had that long sword start, so he's going to be totally fine. I think this is where, again, I feel a little bit worried for EG, because this is now a different look for them. They're going to be trying to play for those late game fights with the Aphelios, but the Aphelios are ready to start to fall pretty far behind. And as well, when you're looking at Wako just being able to take bit of that turret play, get that CS lead. He has been that late game insurance as well for Beyond Gaming, so the fact that he's getting off to this great start is a little bit worrying for Evil Geniuses.
We got Rakan waiting around the mid side saying, hey, if you steal a Kali, go for me. We've got the CC to back him up, so not going to be much of a play here. Mid lane CS equal, but a wave to farm, so Jojo Pyun up around 6 to 7, and Inspire gets his second camp in about as many minutes as he took the bottom side Krugs, but find the back of his wolves to keep going.
And you can see Wako actually moved up towards mid lane as well to try and support that play, because he knows that, look, this wave is going to crash, but we can slowly start to push out this bot wave. You've got 8 minutes just around the corner, so by the time he pushes out this next wave, they can start to rotate up after creating that slow push towards that Rift Herald, and then try and use the advantages that Wako already has right now, and see if they can try and play for that advantage.
Alrighty, so far looking at if there's going to be pressure towards the top side to gank this Kennen, and as you mentioned, Herald as well. 1 minute till it spawns. Mountain Drake, the tankiest of them all, still up. Generally, we've seen in this tournament, I would say, fairly late Drake takes on average. It feels slower than what I'm used to casting LCS and watching everywhere else.
That's been the really curious one. Look, I'm an LPL guy. Like, even you saw RNG yesterday, like 2 dragons already by the 15-minute mark, but hold on.
Oh, gets the flash in time. Wasn't a charm available. Of course, level 4 in the support means you have the reflexes to get away, but that is still a summoner down and a great engage by Kino.
Yeah, really nice, especially if you are... Oh, hang on, Inspired. Had the level 6, was trying to get in behind Minji, but just about able to shirk and flip away. But if you are now looking at these fights for Rift Herald, for things like Dragon, well, now you've got to flash this Aphelios, and Pusha ain't far off level 6, so suddenly things become significantly more difficult for Kerry in these fights.
But wave is in, and one's going to go to top side. Now, it is interesting anytime you're under control ward. It feels like every time you kill one, you're like, all right, we took our turn to kill the ward, but no, they're going to stick around, and Likai just going to stay here. TP is not up for Minji. Ulti gets rid of the wave, pushes it in, 300 health left, and I don't know how you live. Sidesteps the first bit, but Jojo can show up, kick into the wall, and Jojo going to shark the kill. Another one on the board, 3-1. EG take their turn top side, and Minji goes, that means we can go bot.
Yeah, it was a brave play in top for Likey to see if he could try and trade, but now Beyond want to try and respond. Push it is in the wings, but they're waiting on a ward, and I mean, Carry and Vulcan, they can't really back away at this stage.
Nope, but they have TP from Impact, but an ultiless cannon's not much. Vial into the tower, Flay buys some time. They got kill number 1 and 2, a trade back. Vulcan stays alive, but they can reset the aggro, get it back to 0 damage, and then start yet again. Hook comes in a vibe, but he only buys a second for himself. Flashes the knockup, plays away, and Kino nearly dies. Jojo's got to get in there, flashes in, takes an ulti, and now he can dive the Enforcer, and look at that, Evil Geniuses are 6-3.
EG take a bow. That was gorgeous. Immediately, Jojo Pyun inspired, reset off the top plate. They start to move bot and are in time just there to save Vulcan from his inevitable doom. And Beyond, absolutely in tatters after that play.
Jojo Pyun heard people talking smack. This man is 5-1 where he goes. Beyond Gaming dies.
But I think it's really interesting to see, because that's been one of the big talking points for Jojo Pyun, right? Is like what he learned from MSI, looking at people like Faker, looking at people like Xiaohu, how they interact on the map to help their team. Well, he makes the play top, and immediately he's already moving bot lane to make sure that he's there for this second play as well. So it's a bit of a messy dive initially for Beyond Gaming, where they don't lead with Husha, which means Kino ends up missing, but Vulcan just takes it nice and slow, ends up flashing away from the knock-up again, and Jojo Pyun here, perfect timing, gets the engage. Follow, but here we go again.
All right, Minji gonna walk back towards the tower, shurikens backwards, but now is Kino the target, possibly. Ulti's back up, yeah, charm available here for Jojo. Wants to land the chains, but jumped away. Still though, it means that Herald goes over. He's look at top lane. 9 CS lead for Impact, and happy with an assist to his name. Herald also belongs to EG. Mid lane kill score. Yeah, double. This is everything EG wants, they have.
Yeah, I was laughing. It's like the 9 CS lead top is like, that's a 5 kills.
Yeah, I know. We're going down the line, okay? Some of them aren't very special. In bot lane, it's, he's alive.
Yeah, we take those, but I mean, Jojo is just massive right now, and it's great to see him popping off here, because again, like taking the Silas first pick, he knew what he wanted to do, and he's achieved it so well, even getting those early roams off to help out both side lanes, and now you've set up with already the Everfrost complete that you can keep control over this mid lane. Husha and also Kino are going to have to give a ton of resources to try and make sure that Minji can stay safe, and even if he ends up getting pushed in all the time, cool, just lean in towards these neutral objectives. It's so easy to play off the pressure that Jojo Pyun has now.
All right, well, let's see if EG can play it forward. Mountain Drake, certainly useful. Extra armor, MR, keep you alive against the assassins, which is certainly possible here. Just the lantern back to safety, though. It's EG taking a reset. I assume he's getting... I'm just going to guess it's Noon Quiver and, like, Cloak of Agility. I'm not sure what money he has, but certainly wants a decent recall and probably more than just Cloak itself. Let's see what comes through and what EG wants to go for next, because, yeah, as you're mentioning, Drake is up and actually stops the recall, so never mind. But yeah, I'm always like nervous when like we're winning, but we're not stacking Drakes yet. But, like,
yeah.
But what if they come back in 20 minutes? We could have had Mountain Soul already, you know? Just like, maybe that's wrong, but EG certainly don't seem too pressured to play for that one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, as an LPL guy, like we just see dragons are like always taken. So a very like we usually have a soul hit like 23 to 25 minutes. So it's super rare for me when I start to look at international. Like, oh, it's way slower comparatively, and I agree with you in that respect, where it's like, oh, if you have these advantages, like even with Wako, how they'd already set themselves up with a good advantage in that bot side, you then lean that pressure over towards the dragon, you know, just make sure that you're able to pick that one up, start yourself stacking, get some extra stats underneath your wing as well, but just haven't quite got it now for Beyond Gaming, and let's see if EG are going to try and make a play, but push it already in mid lane alongside Kino.
Yeah, bit of damage here across the mid laners. 4 versus 1. Vulcan's here, 4 versus 2. Is there the trade? Not going to get in for anything else. This shield is enough to dissuade anything going on. The lantern back to safety.
But this is what we're talking about with Husha and Kino, right? They have to give these resources mid, because Jojo Pyun would just run amok otherwise. And now Inspired gets to move up towards top side, but you're also giving time for Kerry to just farm himself back into the game on bot side. He was substantially down. Now he's got a big lead for himself, and even EG helping out Impact in this top side as well now.
Yeah. most injured tower. I mean, you got 5 plates fully up in mid. You really, anytime you summon a Herald, you really want to have 2 plates killed by hand before you summon it, and then you're like, they could probably work down the last one by hand. Indeed, they can. So Impact going to be the beneficiary of a whole lot of gold. And very fortunate that Inspired has a lane he can summon on where the rest of the money comes across. So this is a huge gold lead now. You can see a solid 4,000. And EG are playing the best game of the tournament so far against an undefeated team.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, they're just playing the map well, right? Like, there are definitely some kills, don't get me wrong, a lot of them in mid lane, but a huge amount of this is just using that pressure that they have in different positions and catching Beyond Gaming with their pants down. Beyond now are going to turn over towards that dragon, which I think is going to be pretty good for them, just in kind of trying to get something back for themselves in the map, but we'll have to see what EG want to try and do with the time they've been afforded here. Looks like it's just going to be a Scuttle Smite fight.
Yeah, but it's only up for one side, and he's like, you probably have it. I'm just gonna walk away from this one. Thanks for leash. Jojo wants to come back in, has not yet stolen the Xayah ult. He doesn't really need to anyway. Pops it now, but of course you can't pull him back. Doesn't have Blade Caller. Still though, pretty solid hit. Flashes in, Jojo gets one, but now locked down to the tower. Shield from his jungler, pops the stopwatch, and just a bounce house. This Rakan cannot get away. EG get a 2 for 0.
Great stopwatch from Jojo there, keeps himself alive, and they get a second kill off the play as well. Now they're getting plates on bot side. It won't be going towards Kerry, but you're definitely going to be happy that you're still getting more of these plates before they just fall in a couple seconds' time.
Plate number 3 should be not
Maybe?
risked. I guess they're choosing not to risk it. Turret plates fell without getting claimed, but choosing tempo, choosing not get anything weird happening. I think maybe, Aatrox and Fog, maybe it just looks bad.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the game plan is here now, though, because, like, as you can see, Jojo Pyun, he's got full control of these side lanes. He does a really good job here working with Vulcan to make this play happen. Wacko has the cleanse there, and Kino comes in just to try and keep that hook at bay. But the follow-up here is brilliant. Jojo knows he has the stopwatch, tanks the turret up, Inspired ends up walking out, and it just gives enough time for that tower to reset and let the mid laner get on out of dodge.
Yeah, really well done right now. So you can see, yep, full 7 turret plates, 5 from top, 2 from bottom. And once again, Vulcan here just to hold the wave, play it backwards. I assume his lantern's back on cooldown because, all right, I feel it's going to be range of time.
Yeah, and this is where I like the way EG are setting up here, right? Jojo doesn't have TP, so sends him into topside. He can threaten on towards Lycate, and especially when you've got a minute until the Rift Herald. Let's see if they can make a play, and there's no tower.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. He's got the ulti. He's got a TP in his back pocket now as well from a teammate, so Jojo going to pop. Aatrox ult trying to get away, but not just yet. Empowered healing might help, but not nearly enough. Shutdown coming through. 800 gold on the Minji.
Just walking immediately over all that vision, Beyond Gaming are able to respond. So nice bit of pickup there for Minji. Lycate will respond with a TP to bot side as well to make sure that he can match impact on this tower push. Now Beyond Gaming at least getting a shutdown and some gold back over needed in their favor.
Good mechanics by Impact, gets a stun, then gets the sidestep to get out of the chains. So takes the better part of that trade, but with Eclipse done, you just have more Omnivamp here. Pretty much any trade long-term just favors Aatrox because he'll be back to full health and Impact eats a potion.
It's so
It's
dumb.
very good. The item is strong.
It's just so dumb. But look, I think at the moment Beyond are trying to find these ways to get back into it, right? And one overextension there from EG was a nice punish. Now we got to see if they can try and mount anything here for Rift Herald, but with both TPs already invested towards making that play happen, it feels like they're just not really in a position now to try and contest this, especially as Jojo and Impact both have their own TP, so they will just hand this over. But I'd love to see them try and make some sort of cross map here, like make a play on towards Impact on this bot side, or do something with the fact they're not investing time towards this Rift Herald.
Yeah, but of course, Drake 2 minutes away means you can't do much for it. Bot lane, yeah, maybe the look, but Aatrox will be wanting the cannon and no one is around. Vi passes the base towards the bottom side, so saying, well, that's probably where the option is. Maybe because Camp Climber's actually, indeed, his Gromp is up, and he's like, yeah, I'm just farming, actually. We're not even going to make a play down here. Because, yeah, you could have, right? You could have brought down your support. You could have kept Vi to say, actually, I'm going to skip Gromp. We're going to run down. We're going to ward the path through the bottom side jungle and look for a 3v1 tower dive. There's no stopwatch. Like, the dive will work, and maybe the tower.
Even just vision for a Dragon, right? I mean, a minute 20 till that, you're fundamentally a pick comp here with Beyond as well. I mean, with the Vi, the Rakan, the Akali as well, your opportunity to find a couple of picks in that jungle as EG are trying to get established could work, but not going to be the case. So EG, at least with themselves now back into that bottom side, have kind of kept that vision at bay and should be able to contest this Dragon in a minute's time. You're already seeing those resets coming through, and a Gale Force already for Kerry sets himself up nicely, and Jojo Pyun is just so far ahead of everyone, it's insane.
Yeah. The important thing to track, though, I think it's something that's always very relevant, is the item timers themselves, though. When do the completions come through? Because right now, Jojo Pyun has a mythic, and a really garbage component item that doesn't do anything. Until Zonius is down, that is a broken stopwatch and a couple of stats. So he's functionally, despite being up 3 kills, at the same items. Actually less, because BYG has a stopwatch that's not broken.
He still hasn't reset, though. It looks like he wants to try and put pressure on towards this top side, so trying to get as much out of this play as possible. So, but I'm kind of surprised, right? Because 20 seconds now, you feel like EG would have liked to try and contest Vision and River, but they're fully committing to having this push onto top. Minji will now respond and doesn't have teleport, so looks like that's going to be the play, but at least EG should be able to move in. Beyond will spot them, though, if they try to move into that river area.
And there's your Zonias. As Jujukun says, well, I'm willing to commit teleport if required, but we have enough pressure that I can take the late reset. It's going to be okay. Maybe he's just right about it, because Evil Geniuses have indeed TP'd him down, and guess what? They are on the Drake. A TP-less Akali is holding top lane, and Evil Geniuses were able to maximize gold income. They burn a 5-minute cooldown, okay. And off to the Drake they are, 1-1.
Yeah, and you even get bot lane tower here for impact as well, just with the amount of pressure that was there. So nicely done by EG, and again, being able to figure out how they want to try and approach the map. A huge amount of this hasn't been like, you know, hands diff. It's been a bit of, hey, we're just going to figure out how we want to set ourselves up on the map correctly. And now we've even got a Rift Tower for mid lane.
They won't quite kill the tower, but it should be at least crash, put it down below 1,000. The question is, will anything more happen afterwards? Rakan ulti stolen. Indeed, this Shelly will drop 25 gold, hand it back over to Wako. As we wait a long time for item number 2. Cowrie on his way towards mainly Bloodthirster as the more defensive option. I wouldn't have been shocked to see Shield Bow if he's like, actually, it's just about me not dying. Doesn't even matter. Like, we're just going to not die to Akali Vi, but did go Gale Force with the option. Jojo now wants to fight Minji, not going to get it though. Actually down a level, I will say. That as many kills he's gotten, he has spent so much time roaming around the map. That is a 30 CS lead for the Beyond Gaming mid laner, as well as that plus level. So, again, not in the worst spot here, the Akali, but still has some catching up to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing at the moment, is that EG haven't really been establishing themselves fully in the side lanes. It's kind of been a, hey, we're going to push and move, whereas you've just been consistently collecting these waves as Beyond Gaming. So I think this is where we're going to start to see now EG really put a bit more focus onto, okay, well, let's get this mid lane turret down, then we can try and operate in a little bit of a 1-3-1, and just use the fact that Jojo is so far ahead that we can actually make a ton of plays around him, even just moving Inspired over. You have the Zonyas, you can go for more aggressive dives and use that Zonyas to keep the Silas safe.
Image is getting his own farm here. Sits on, you know, I said before it was a 9 CS lead. It's 13 now. We are counting the leads. 13 CS in top lane. I mean, sometimes people say top die. This is, you know, this is just top diff, all right? 13 CS for a ranged melee matchup. I mean, can you do better than that, honestly, anyone? No, there's a reason he has his own skin. Look, we've had a lull, okay? It's been 5 minutes of like, a Herald died once. It didn't even kill a tower, so... We gotta find some things to fill for a little bit here. This Banshees is on the way for Jojo Guns. Is okay, sure. Gonna be dealing with the Akali on that one. As mid lane is under fire, but Cowie, until the Bloodthirster is done, maybe just doesn't feel quite safe. Again, you can Lantern, but Vi's still gonna land on you, so yeah, not even going for really much here. You can even see the Q was being channeled over the wall. But the respect given, but the options grasped by the Beyond Gaming jungler, who's just like, if you do something, I'm over the wall and Akali's gonna follow me, so not a bad option, but end of the day, it's just the wave pushed in and cleared back out.
But this has kind of been the story of the way EG have played, right? It hasn't been a case of, oh, we're gonna fully commit to like pushing towers. We're just gonna play for those team fights. We're just gonna play for the late game fights. And it has been Danny who's kind of been at the forefront of that, and now we're gonna have to see if Carry can kind of step up. Now, he does have a little bit of a cushion, I will say, with how big Jojo is, gonna make things significantly easier, but I still just think for EG, playing for Dragons, playing for these late game fights is completely fine with the composition that they have at the moment.
Yeah, interesting to see that actually Wako's going for Bloodthirster himself, unless this is Stormrazor, which I doubt. But it's same build path, because he is the one like behind, right? Like this is a game where you only have limited time as Beyond Gaming, and I mean, I'm personally a big fan of Sandmancer. I think it works actually very well on Xayah. She likes attack speed, but ultimately choosing a much more expensive option that keeps him safer when a Kennen and a Lee Sin and a Sylas are diving him. Like I get it. It makes a lot of sense to buy this when Sylas takes an Akali ult and dives you with it. But it doesn't mean his power spike's going to be slower, and I think he's just behind. He's going to be behind the curve against Cowrie this entire game as a result.
Yeah, and I mean, look, at the moment, that's the biggest problem for Beyond Gaming, is that they just don't feel like they're up to the curve at all across the board. Yeah. I mean, Minji, even though he does have that slight CS lead, still is trying to play catch-up. You've even got the Banshee's Veil that's coming through from Jojo Pyun, which means he's going to be fine. The only one I'm actually half worried about is Likey. The fact that he stopped off for the Hex Drinker as well means he's going to do good against both solo laners from EG, so maybe he can find some advantages through that, but overall, it's just EG still with the 4K gold lead fully in control.
We'll say though, 4K Gold Lead flatlining does not give you the most confidence, rather playing out the rest of the mid-game. They are definitely playing it very, very slowly. They did not get that first Drake, right? That was grabbed beyond as the cross map for the first Herald. So we're on pace for a 34-minute Dragon Soul if EG retain control.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm digging the reset timers coming through from beyond, because again, you can play for picks here with this composition, and they did set around about that 120 mark so that they can get vision early, but having Wako back late means that they kind of have to give up all that advantage that they had. So now EG are coming back onto the map. They have a little bit more control, so looks like Husha and Minji are just going to hang out in this bush and see if they can find some.
I mean, you get any pick leading into the Dragon, it's probably just yours in the 5v4. The game is close enough that like Impact being dead means you win the fight. And I don't know if you get this in the LEC very much. We do a lot of ward cheers here in the Americas. Sometimes you get these games where there's no kill for 10 minutes, and it's going down! I'm glad that ward kills like transcend languages, right? Over Mexico City, I'm here in Los Angeles. Yeah, we still got the ward kills, and I'm glad.
We don't have enough time to cheer for ward kills in the LPL.
Bloodier?
Yeah, it's a little bit bloodier.
I don't know why I said LEC.
I do both.
Yeah, okay.
I've dabbled, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I only wanted about the LEC stint, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
It's just so we can mark the bird again. So we can give EG a score on the head.
Because I know the LPL doesn't need ward clears, like, you know? The champions are the wards, the dying 4 hits as well. Speaking of which, kicker of the wall does not quite kill the Sight Stone. That is 4 wards still alive, functionally, for Beyond Gaming. And now, the Drake standoff is coming in. Husha walks in and wants to zone this one out. Evil Geniuses only down 1 ulti.
I feel like this is good for EG though, right? Like good ward control, pinks on both sides, no flank opportunities for Beyond Gaming, and from a front to back situation, I actually favor EG. That's why we can see Minji now starting to see if he can get onto this flank, but Kino low, he can't really set up these engages properly.
Minji gonna wait in the wings. I think Impact can just about see him. 4K health on the Cloud Drake. Who's the smite gonna go for? Jojo might want to frontline. Minji is spotted, and he's not gonna be part of this fight at all. They land nothing onto him though. Smite fight comes in, claimed. Well done by Inspired. 2-1 on Drakes. EG have not found a kill in forever. The neutral objectives at least are theirs.
Great positioning here for EG as well. That gets clear at the mid wave, can start to push this in as well, get a bit of control onto this top side if they want to too, but look like they are just going to back away. You can see Beyond were very nervous with the fact that EG were on that Baron side of the map. A ton of pings went down onto that objective, but everyone just going to back away, reset. I'd be happy that they managed to nick that Dragon right out from underneath the nose of Beyond.
That is pretty fortunate. It is interesting just how slowly this game is playing though, because yeah, the lead has remained fairly stagnant. It has just been the slow objective stack. And, ooh, Impact.
I feel like we got baited.
Yeah,
when I saw Jojo get 5 kills, like, oh, I'm so ready, let's go. And then we just stalled.
just channel your inner champions queue. Just take every fight. Just get in there, you know? Choosing to play it slowly. Impact. Stealth long enough, they just forgot he was there. They're like, we can 3v1 him. They're like, never mind. Impact just takes the wave down. Minji's gonna be chilling. Inspired was there, of course, to Shadow. In the end, maybe could have turned around the fight regardless. Zap! Takes down the Cannon Minion. 90 gold claimed. But I gotta point out, though, DK's up 2 CS, so better top laner.
We're just gonna keep coming back to this.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta say, though, I'm looking at Wako's build. It's interesting to see him still going for that full AD build. Looks like he's just gonna go for that full burst damage off of all the feathers. And I mean, when you're playing with the amount of assassins and just upfront burst damage already, it does make a little bit of sense, especially if you have Jojo Pyun jumping on your face, just trying to kill that Silas as quickly as possible before you can start getting multiple Kingslayers, and the survivability could actually work out well.
Yep, just on the way to Bloodthirster, Bloodthirster's done. On the way to Infinity Edge, so, you know, still on pace. I mean, CS, honestly, pretty good, right? Both AD carries well over 10 CS a minute. Mid laner's not quite so much. They've been doing a lot more roaming, but this is pro play AD carry. I sit in mid lane. I get 13 CS a minute as I crush cannon waves, and I'll see you in team fights. Hopefully I have IE by then. It's like, great, good job. 0-1 and 1, 0-1 and 2. Ward goes down, dodges the hook.
The best mechanics we've seen in the last 3 minutes. Let's go. But yeah, I had to stop playing support. I couldn't deal with the Enchanter meta.
Oh,
so I was just like, all right, I'm a Silas Wood trick now. I could not deal with my Enchanters anymore.
You know what's funny? Actually, I've opted into it. Did you ever play during the whole Smite top?
Yes.
Like, yeah. I willingly played a lot of Janna top. I played a lot of Janna Smite top. I had a lot of fun doing that. Because you just fight all the time. You're just like, is there a jungler? I'm gonna fight you for your red buff. Is there someone else? I'm running away. I'm gonna go mid lane. We're 2v1 in this guy. And it was actually a scrappy the whole time. It was great.
See, my biggest memory from that was Kingen dying on Maokai to Bubu's Janna. in the solo lanes from the LPL, and that is my favorite memory from that era, and the only thing I remember fondly about Janna top lane.
Oh, I have another good memory about Janna top lane, actually. At the Season 1 World Championship, we played a Riot versus Pros game. I laned against Jushay and first blooded him as Corki versus Janna top. So I'm just saying, you know, I used to be good at League of Legends. Yeah, and now I'm not. But yeah, Janna's still a good champion.
I could never say I was good at League of Legends, to be perfectly honest.
That's fine.
This is why I talk about it. You don't have to be good.
Yeah, you don't need hands. You get a mouth.
But either way, EG now still trying to see if they can get control onto the map. We got pushing mid, pushing top side a little bit, but again, you're not really syncing up these fully, right? Like you can see the wave crashing mid, but Impact's a little bit out. They're trying to move over now to see if they can crash onto this tier 2 as Jojo gets control on top side. But again, I feel like you're just going to be able to kind of match a lot of this at the moment, although Wacko has reset, so maybe a bit of a timing window here for EG.
Yeah, they got everyone around here. Likai playing far enough away. The wave is cleared out, and you can see the reinforcements on the minimap are flooding down. But Cowrie's like, I can hit this for a bit. As long as you have a pocket lantern, I mean, you weren't really in range of a Vi Q flash, so I think could have played that tower a bit more aggressively, but says, you know what, mid away from the Drake, and you can see, yeah, right, the gold lead grew for the first 15 minutes, and then it has been relatively flat. Like, you can't really draw an upward trajectory from 15 to 25 at this point in time, so it has just been like, well, we got 2 Drakes, and that's good enough for EG. Of course, next one comes up soon, but Beyond Gaming actually going to creep maybe a bit of a fork here as they play to the top side. Now, while the Scuttle has been owned by EG, Baron can create a lot of threat that, of course, Evil Geniuses cannot give away.
Yeah, it's odd to me that they're kind of setting up on this side of the map, though, because, I mean, everyone on EG now is just going to lean in towards this bottom side and look for a dragon. You even got the push out from Jojo Pyun on the top side, but
he's going to be able to get back towards the tower and stopwatches the ulti. That is a one-time cooldown gone. Flash flay into the hook, and they've caught the jungler. Husha goes down. The defense was there. And it's going to be found out now more for Jojo Pyun. Jumps in, finds the second stun, the charm, the safety. Then Beyond stay alive for now, and Minji going to try his best. Kino showing up with the Gale Force, and Impact fire in for a second. The flash in for more. Stopwatch keeps them fired alive. A flay finds them, and that's going to be the team fight that EG wanted. 3 for nothing, and Baron's going to be the next.
It was the Hail Mary play from Beyond Gaming, and it fell flat. EG knew it was coming. They leaned to their safe side of the map, and now they're on towards the Baron. Beyond, though, 2v5. Can they make a miracle happen?
It's going to require one, honestly, here, because Smite is not up, though, for Inspired. So they do have to kind of play to zone everyone out, unless you get a miracle steal. Jojo waiting in the wings, but only 1,000 health makes it tough. Health getting lower, and now Beyond saying, you know what? We got too low. Off we go. Baron gonna get shut down. Under the kill through to Impact. Better top laner after all. And it's time for the Red Bull Baron power play.
I'm scared though, Free. Because Beyond now we're going to get the Dragon, which means that if this EG play doesn't go fantastic,
we're going 10 more minutes.
we made up a ton of time here earlier on today, and now we're taking it all back. But look, EG, I think in a really good spot, especially if the elite resets come through from Beyond. But you can see here, right? Kerry knew he was going to be safe as long as he leaned to the right-hand side. Ton of vision there. They'd already pushed out top wave, so they know they didn't even have to check that side of the jungle. So Beyond, as we say, through the Hail Mary, but just really well read by EG. They respond great, and they find the team fight victory.
And, you know, nice attempts right there, right? Like, a lot of heroics coming through here. The double stopwatch is getting burned there. The Q slightly mistimed by Likai, does actually land it. And then, yeah, Minji goes for his entire combo against Lee Sin, who had his stopwatch as well. So that actually is, weirdly enough, a lot of the gold lead paying off. The fact that both Lee Sin and Aphelios were able to buy stopwatches and then play that fight out meant they got to immune all of the engaged tools. But now we got a fight coming around the top side, and this boy, I believe his stopwatch is down, but he's able to get the first couple of stuns to dodge out, and Impact is here, and everyone's gonna start dying here. A 2 for nothing so far. Wacko tries to live, but the crits come through. A double kill for Cowrie. Likai back inside the base. Inspire wants to find, but you don't have the damages yet. Side steps away from Jojo Pyun, diving in for a little bit more, and now Cowrie would love to get his third kill of the fight. The dive is in, and he's gonna get it.
Great play from EG. They turn around the pick. Jojo making a play with the charm as well means that everyone on Beyond gets stuck, and now they get to walk this one in as Husha, the last man standing.
Well, it's going to be 5,000 gold and a Nexus for the first Baron of Evil Geniuses this game. A quick death on the Jojo Pyun kind of ruins his KDA. This is bound to be a victory, but hold on, at least a kill comes through. and they're gonna pad for one more bit of stats. Impact's got 4. The game is gonna end. Evil Geniuses get another win.
Really well played by EG in the early stages, and especially from that man on your screen there, Jojo Pyun, stepping up huge on the Silas. Gets the play in top, immediately responds to the cross map from beyond on the bottom side of the map, and finds himself that easy pickup. Really well played from EG.
It felt like that play at bottom outer was the play that kind of broke the game open. Okay, EG sent 3 top, and it's a cross map by beyond. Okay, and the fight was actually like a 2-for-1. You know, the Kennen TP'd over and insta-died, and was like, all right, this is looking pretty good. But they took so long letting the tower reset that you saw Lee Sin and Silas, they had both recalled and were beelining down there. And the very end, Vulcan's like, yeah, I'm gonna flay and flash to the left because I've got reinforcements of time already, and the cleanup was there to make it an extra 2. That's so good. Jojo Pyun on like 6-1